Cape Town International Airport has been experiencing delays in receiving jet fuel. Airports company South Africa says this is due to a slow delivery time frame from the fuel supplier. Newzroom Afrika's Athi Mtongana joins us live for more. Athi, very good afternoon to you. I suppose that flight suspensions loom. What is being said about when this jet fuel is expected to be in the country?
Well, I do have Mark McLean from Airports Company South Africa to talk about what has caused this delay. You were just saying to me, Mark, before we went on air, that part of the delay that you are experiencing is as a result of the ship that's carrying the fuel and that's experiencing high tides. Talk to us about the situation right now.
Yes. So unfortunately, in fact, we have fuel suppliers that order jet supplies for the airlines, and we experienced a delay through the fuel suppliers in the delivery of a shipment of jet, and the vessel has unfortunately been delayed for more than a week, and we've been informed by the fuel suppliers continuously that it's due to rough seas. And I'm pleased to say that the vessel has now arrived in Cape Town, so that's good news. And in fact, we are now working with the fuel suppliers to actually get the quantities of jet delivered to the airport within the next 2 days.
Now, I'm interested to find out whether this is something that would ordinarily happen. Have you experienced something like this before?
It is the first time in Cape Town for a while that we experience such a low stock sort of situation. We had previously relied on production at refineries, and one of the contributing factors to the situation is that some refineries have shut down and are actually not producing jet locally. So over the past 2 or 3 years, we've actually had a bigger reliance on imported jet product on vessel, and it's unfortunate that it's happening now because in fact we are expecting the local refineries to restart production in the next 2 to 3 months, and we will have then less reliance on jet, and we therefore hope that this type of situation will not repeat itself.
Now, the impact of this, Mark, has it resulted in flight delays? How will it even affect commercial flights or even international flights and those who are looking at traveling in the next couple of hours?
Well, that is why we've been working very hard with the industry, the airline industry and the airport community to make sure that we minimize the impact of the situation. So the first objective was to reduce the uplift of jet fuel out of the airport so that we conserve our stock holding at the airport while we wait for the new shipment of jet and the delivery to arrive. So the airlines have been doing a fantastic job in collaboration with us and the broader industry to in fact fly to a different destination to uplift fuel, and some of them are tankering in enough fuel to actually fly out of the airport without any additional fuel. So everyone has really come together with one objective: make sure that operational impact is minimized, and until now there's only been one flight cancellation, and I think that is fantastic in terms of what we've experienced over the last week.
One flight cancellation too?
We had one flight cancellation, unfortunately. That was today's flight. United Airlines cancelled the inbound and outbound flight to Newark, and that was because of the uncertainty of the volumes of jet that they wanted to secure from their fuel supplier. But again, we hope that in the next 2 days the situation will normalize and that the international airlines will all resume to their normal schedules.
At the harbour, considering the fact that there have to be processes that would have to unfold in terms of the quality check of the fuel, how long will that take then?
Well, it normally takes about 24 hours. So, in fact, the ship came into the harbour this morning, and we are hoping that deliveries will resume to the airport by tomorrow evening. So that's the timeline that we're working towards, and if all of that goes well and we start building stocks, it will ease the restrictions on the airlines.
Before I let you go, Mark, I know you said that this is not something that ordinarily happens because you do have, alternatives in terms of your suppliers and, looking at now international and local. Going forward, how else will you be dealing with this situation? I know you said in about 3 months' time that you'll have supply locally, but how can you actually assure that what happened now will not happen again?
Yeah, so I think there's two things that we're working on. Again, we hope that in the next 2 months we will have at least two things happen. The one is that local production will increase, or local production of jet, that is. And secondly, we are bringing additional storage tanks online. In fact, we've built additional storage facilities of jet. We are busy commissioning that, and we trust that in the next 2 months that will also be fully operational. So we'll have greater storage capacity, and we will have local production supplemented by imports, and we trust that that combination will minimize the risk of this happening again.
What is the financial impact of what had just transpired? I know you said there was only one flight cancellation, but in terms of, the finances, how are you looking at the fact that the delay has been quite significant?
Well, it needs to be avoided because the financial impact on the airlines is significant. As you can imagine, fuel costs is one of the biggest cost factors for any airline, and an airline that has to bring in additional fuel actually burns more fuel because the aircraft is heavier as it flies. So there is unfortunately a significant cost to the airline. So again, we are very pleased that in spite of that additional cost, the airline's focus was on getting passengers to their destinations, make sure that they remain operational, and we're very pleased in terms of their position in that regard. But it is costly and it needs to be avoided.
Thank you so much for your time. Well, we'll leave it there for now with Mark McLean from Airports Company South Africa saying that, of course, the fuel has arrived. They are now waiting on quality assurance purposes to ensure that all systems are on board and they are checked before, of course, the fuel arrives here at the Cape Town International Airport.
Well, Athi Mtongana, let's leave it there for now as we continue, of course, to keep a close eye on the arrival there of fuel.